So what happened today? What happened today? What happened after I followed Carrie's horde of unhinged lunatics onto Twitter to see what nonsense they were spinning up today just for fun? Is I found this. Now, Mike Harlow is Carrie Smith's best friend. Mike Harlow is someone that I knew who pretended to be my friend for months to grift off my clout. And then when he didn't want to use me anymore, he started smearing me on the internet. Mike Harlow is the person that spread the smear campaign that is used against me all the time, who doxed my friends, who is just an all around, like, ridiculous, utter failure piece of garbage human being. He's also Brandon Strzok's best friend in the Walkaway campaign. Brandon Strzok, of course, approves of everything Mike Harlow does, endorses it, thinks Mike Harlow is just so necessary to getting people to leave the Democratic Party. He's absolutely vital. Anyway, I accidentally stumbled upon this because someone in Carrie Smith's horde had posted it on Twitter. I was like, what the fuck is this? Well, Human Events, for those who don't know, is a pretty, in the land of conservatives, let's just look at humanevents.com for a second. Human Events is a website that is not loading. There it goes. Jack Posobiec is one of the key people. If we look down here, hang on, Beth. What I'm learning is that some of the self-proclaimed woke don't even understand as much about the origins of their ideology that I learned here. No, they don't. They really don't. That's a whole other thing, Beth, but you're not wrong about that. So do you guys know how I say that conservative media doesn't actually care about these issues because they refuse to cover them? Well, let's look at some of the people that think that Mike Harlow is the voice to platform on the conservative right. Libby Emmons, who is on Tim Pool all the time, editor of the Post Millennial, editor of Human Events, conservative pundit extraordinaire. Jack Posobiec, Charlie Kirk. This is not a little rinky-dink website. This is the conservative Twitterati, the leaders of the conservative right, the ones who will save us all, remember? Well, Human Events 2 months ago published this op-ed from Mike Harlow. Now, I'm going to sum up this op-ed, and then we're going to read it. And what I want you guys to listen for is Mike Harlow's understanding of what he's talking about versus our understanding of what he's talking about. So, and because these are light years apart. And when I say that we are 2 years minimally ahead of where the conservative right is, this article is going to illustrate that so perfectly. So here is the summary of this article. And I'm not making this up. And we're going to read it and you're going to see. This is what the conservative Twitterati thought was the most important message that the conservative right could hear about this topic. Here's the summary. Guys, drag queens are bad. And do you know what else is bad? There's this thing called queer theory. And I don't really know what queer theory is. I think it's like Karl Marx with sequins. And queer theory is also bad. So drag queens are bad and queer theory is bad. And we should fight things that are bad. And I'm gay, so I would know better than anyone that drag queens are bad and queer theory is bad. And we need to fight them both. That's what this article says. That's all it says. I'm gay. I think drag queens are bad. I think queer theory is bad. I don't really know what queer theory is, but it's bad. Trust me, bro, it's bad. And we should fight back against things that are bad. That's the message that conservatives are thinking is going to save us all. And here's the thing. It's not wrong. I mean, I don't think drag queens are personally bad. Like, I don't really care either way. But like, he's not wrong that queer theory is bad. But what I'm trying to articulate is they have no effing idea what they're even talking about. And not only that, he's stealing my language in this, by the way. You're going to see that too. Yeah. Hi, Mikey. I know you're watching me because you stole my language in your introduction kindergarten level article about queer theory, which you don't even understand. You guys are going to see that. So let's read this article. And while we're reading this article, I want you to think about the queer Marxism trainings that we've watched. I want you to think about all the times we've talked about the infiltration of the LGBTQ into education and happy hour. I want you to think about every single person who watches me regularly. I promise you, you have a more in-depth understanding than the conservative Twitterati about what is going on. And you're going to see that so clearly. And I think it's important that we talk about this. So let's read. Drag story hour is the delivery system for queer theory. Well, kind of. There's a lot of stuff that he's saying in this article that is like technically correct, but he doesn't understand why it's correct. So is Drag Queen Story Hour the delivery system for queer theory? Kind of. Not really, but kind of. When I heard the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, was planning to participate in a Drag Queen Story Hour at the center in the West Village, I knew I had to make my voice heard. As a gay man and a New Yorker, I know what drag is about, and it's not for kids. It's been unclear to me, until now, why so many progressives are pushing drag queens and toddlers together. Okay, so there we have it. I'm gay, and drag is bad, okay? Then I realized it's not about acceptance, tolerance, or drag. It's not about sex. It's not about making sure children know that being different is just as fine as being the same. It's about an ideology. Again, he's not wrong. It is about an ideology. But why? What is that ideology? What does that ideology believe? What does that ideology argue? Do you know anything about this ideology at all? It is a misconception that sexualization is the crux of the issue with Drag Queen Story Hour. Correct. But why? Sometimes it is. Nope. But these events are not always sexual. It doesn't matter. The drag is incidental. It is simply a delivery system for an ideology. A more accurate name would be Baby's Intro to Queer Theory. Again, you are technically correct that it is a delivery mechanism for an ideology, but you still haven't explained how it's being delivered. Is it being delivered through the children's books? Is it being delivered through the interaction with the drag queen? How is it being delivered? And then I don't know why they just have a random link to a tweet there. That doesn't make sense to me. It looks like Human Events has a broken website. This is an entry point to catapult children into a cult. It is normalizing what has always been fringe subculture, and that used to be the appeal of drag. It is ideological grooming. It is the equivalent of Scientologists going into schools to teach children about thetans and e-meters. There is a very clear agenda behind it. Again, not technically wrong. Everything that he's saying is technically correct, but again, it's just such a like. This is kindergarten. This is preschool. This is like, we are fucking in advanced college level master's program, and they're dicking around in preschool saying bad things are bad, okay? They're not explaining what those things are because they don't know what those things are. Look at the books being read. Which books are they? Do you know what books are being read? I have a whole effing book list of books being read. I published it on the Substack. You can find it there. But does he know? Do conservatives know the book's being read? I would bet they don't. That's why they don't write. That's why they don't publish them in the article. Look at the multiple sex offenders being shielded by putting on drag and hiding behind the magic words of the LGBTQ. Again, not technically wrong, but like making a statement is not actually evidence. These children are being groomed to be loyal soldiers to an ideology and a political party. It is Scientology meets North Korea, but with sequins. They cover it in lots of sugar and candy to meet it desirable to kids, just repeating how it's written because it has a typo in it, just like predators do. If they taught kids Karl Marx, they'd fall asleep. So they dress it up in wigs and stilettos. Okay, so he now has some sort of sense that it's Marxism, but how is it Marxism? What are they teaching that's Marxism? What does that even mean? The goal is to capture them into the radical far-left ideology that will have its hooks in them for life, that subverts their sense of self. It teaches them gender confusion, sex confusion. It subverts the family unit. Oh, really, Mikey? It subverts the family unit? How does it subvert the family unit, Mikey? What do they want to do with the family unit? How, like, can you give us more information? How does listening to a drag queen subvert the family unit? Do you know what Marxists want to do with the family unit? Do you know why they want to do it to the family unit? Do you understand the ideology behind it? I mean, maybe Mikey has heard that I've covered Abolish the Family like 18 times on this channel, and I'm the only one on YouTube really covering Abolish the Family. But he doesn't understand it. It introduces the idea of the community being a substitute for family, and this is a community that is toxic for most adults. Why are they so adamant about this? Why do they so badly want drag queens in front of your children? That's a great question, Mikey. Why haven't you answered why they want your children in front of drag queens since you are the writer of the article? But check this out. This is how we know, Mikey, you're reading my work. Hi. If destabilization is the ends, this is the means. Huh. Guys, who says that one of the 4 goals of the woke left is destabilize the system like every effing day on the internet? The 4 goals of the woke left are always and forever: gain as much power as possible, destabilize the system, attack capitalism, usher in your Marxist utopia. I just think it's funny that the word destabilized was specifically used there with no explanation about what it even means. Again, no explanation about what that actually means. Drag Queen Story Hour is the syringe. Queer theory is the poison in it. What is queer theory, Mikey? What is it? Do you have any idea what it is? Of course he doesn't, because Mike Harlow is a comedic cultural commentator. So the point, guys, the point is, this is the understanding that the brightest minds in conservative Twitter, this is the understanding that they have of what is going on in the world. What do you guys think about this understanding? Let me know in the chat. Does it strike you that this understanding is a little bit elementary? Does it strike you that this amazing analysis of what's going on in the world leaves, I don't know, a little bit to be desired, a little bit to the imagination? The problem and the challenge that we face is this. Because we have done the work. We've done the work. Because we have sat down and watched these people every Friday for 2 years for happy hour, and every Saturday, and many times in between as well for Socialism Saturday for months. We have an advanced level of understanding of what is going on in the world. we have completely separated ourselves from like the average person. And that's a little weird to think about, isn't it? But when you read stuff like this, that is considered the absolute thing that conservatives need to be covered, and this is just the absolute best that they can do. When you read things like this, that leaves so much to be desired, that is so elementary, that is so not like obviously doesn't even understand the topic he's talking about, you start to understand why I'm having trouble getting stuff like this covered. Because they are not in a place to understand it. Either they don't have the intelligence or they don't have the experience, and they certainly do not have the exposure to it that we do. So guys, if you are relatively new to my channel and you're new and all of this sounds like crazy town to you, I implore you, come to happy hours on Fridays or watch the archive. I have a full archive of happy hour. You don't have to come live. You can go back and watch it anytime. But come to happy hours on Fridays. You will understand more than anyone else on the internet. Come to Socialism Saturday on Saturdays. You will start to you're going to be confused as hell at first, I promise you, because again, Socialism Saturday is really advanced. Happy hour is like introductory. Socialism Saturday is advanced. But I promise you, if you can get yourself to sit down with us and watch what's going on and dissect it, and I will give you the explanations. I will explain as much as I can. People in the chat can help explain. You will start to understand better than anyone on the internet what is going on. That's what we need more of right now. We don't need this. This makes no difference at all. This does nothing more than to rile people up. This is outrage porn. What we need to defeat the woke left is people sitting down and listening. And I wish there was a shortcut that I could give you. I really do. And I'm trying to be better about making clips of things to like really get me explaining key points. But there is no shortcut to a lot of this stuff, guys. A lot of it's on demand. You can find it on demand. You can watch it on your own time. I know sometimes it's boring. I know sometimes it's cringy. I know you don't want to. I know there are more interesting things on. But if you want to really understand what's going on at an advanced level, then these are the things that you need to do. And we know that because we did it. We didn't intend it to happen this way. It was an accident. It really was. But it's what occurred anyway. And that's why I am able to see further out than a lot of people, and a lot of you can too. Because we know what to look for now. And we know how they work. And we know how they're showing up.